care of. Even this morning, I had to get up and run some errands, but I saw that clip and I was like, damn, you know what? That's a show right there. That little brief clip is a show because I know I can find a bunch of other stuff to kind of round out the points, but basically he kind of gave up the game. He's like, yeah, well, the media hates you blacks. He said the left hates you blacks, right? That's really what he said. He said the left hates you blacks, right? Well, who is the left, right? The left is also the media, and the left is when it comes to like politics, there's a lot of Jews on the political left, and then when it comes to the lot of Jewish control, Jewish influence, either direct control or roundabout influence, right? Because you got things like the ADL, and then also not even just the ADL, but just this. There's a general sentiment that things that are offensive to or critical of Jewish people don't get a lot of media coverage, right? So when you realize these two things, it really just boils down to, all right. So you're saying it without saying it. You realize this, Prager. You just snitched on your whole camp, but Anyway,
I believe we had this conversation before, and I've also had this conversation on like other panels as well. Even if you look at like the music industry, like look at like who controls a lot of these corporations.
that's why I had to play that clip about the guy who just notices. He says, "I'm the guy who counts how many Jews there are in things."
Yeah, that joke hilarious.
That guy is a fucking hero. He just sits in a basement just tracking the Jew stats, bro. What a fucking job. Dirty folks, man, welcome to the show, bro. What's going on? What you think so far?
What's good, dirty folks?
I had a point and I forgot, but it's gonna come back to me when y'all change the top. It wasn't that though. No, because the H man, that's my guy. Like that's my dude. It's like Napoleon, then the H man, then Stalin, then Ben Franklin, then sometimes Jesus, because he sell a lot of books and I write books, so I be jealous. But sometimes L. Ron Hubbard, because he sell a lot of books and I write books and I'm jealous. Depend.
Well,
So
dirty folks, to your point that you just made, like I said this in the chat, like look at the difference between like the AI version where like it was said in English what allegedly what he actually said. I'm not sure because I don't speak German, but allegedly that's what he actually said in those speeches compared to like how they typically portray him. Because like when he's speaking in fucking like his native tongue, it sounds angry, so you're automatically gonna assume that he's on some bullshit.
I'm a fan of DMX. He always sounded angry, even when he was talking. I mean, it is what it is, bro. Here's the thing, bro. Everything that the prophet.
We gotta get these Jews up out of this place because they're taking all our supplies.
Hey, Mickey, I missed you. All right, so here's the thing. Everything that the H man did started in
Wait, before you go
1926.
to the H man, I just gotta take a second to tell Hood he's a piece of shit. Because that clip that you played brought a tear to my eye while I was outside fucking mowing the grass, motherfucker. That wasn't even cool. That wasn't even right.
Wait till your turn, white man.
How did I become a piece of? It's not my fault you cry in public.
That's
it wasn't in public. It was in the privacy of my own backyard, mowing my grass.
Public. That's public.
No, it's not public because I live on 2 acres, dude. It's
you
not
were under the sun. It's public.
Okay, fair enough. You made me cry in public over some shit, and I don't think that's cool, bro.
I don't think it's cool for you to cry. I was laughing the whole time. I'm gonna have to check your white card. Look.
Well, no, you don't have to check.
No, that's how white he is, though. You don't understand how white he is. It made him cry.
It brought a tear to my eye. It did, man. Some little fucking 6-month-old baby getting shot in the face by some piece of shit, dude. I wish I'd have been there to see that. I'd have shot that piece of shit in his face.
Well, you talking about that clip? Oh, I didn't know what the hell you meant. I thought you were talking about.
Hey, look, man.
No, I'm talking about that clip. That baby getting shot in the face. That was fucked up, dude.
Yeah, we totally misread your segue.
Yeah, because your segue sucked because it wasn't a segue, it was an interruption. I'm talking crap.
It was an interruption. I wanted to interrupt and get that point across real quick.
It really was. Get your emotions in control, sir.
I know, right? Masturbate. Get one out, bro. Calm down.
Let me say this real quick. This is why the small hat dude in the video, I could say he was right in here. Because as soon as Snowman came on, he colonized the panel instantly.
I did.
I know, right?
I
All the
did.
time.
Got me tapping into my
Hey,
internal victimhood.
I
Look,
reached into my inner German man.
He be
you're
trying
not
to
German
colonize
though,
the
you
panel,
Irish.
and then he winds up fighting with all the brown people. History always repeats itself.
Fucking Irish. Look, here's what happened. This
Hey,
is
I
why
can
the
be
H man.
anything I want to be. My mom told me that.
Your mom was a slut. Look,
Yeah, that doesn't change the fact that she told me I could be anything I wanted to be.
look, don't listen to boomers, bro. We agreed on that. Anyway, listen, man. This is why I like the H man. Everything he did started in 1926. For everything that the Semites are talking about, like we were just innocent and they picked on us, they were sucking Germany dry after the sanctions of World War I. So the H man studied America and took all the propaganda from America and used it in Germany. So everything that was part of Jim Crow marketing in America, he used on the Semites there. So Hitler really saved the black man's life. The way the world went against the H man after he did his camps,
Wow, that
that's
went.
that's it, bro.
That was a weird direction I wasn't expecting you to take.
Yeah, it went a little south.
I don't. Yeah,
Nah,
I don't
that's
know
why
if
the
I
H man
buy
my
it.
guy.
I don't know if I buy it in the way that you put it out there because I don't take the same reflexive dislike to H man. Obviously, I got great admiration for what he represented. However, I don't know that he saved us in the same way because you got to understand what happened with Black Americans, and this is what Dennis Prager was alluding to, right? We just become like a part of this giant movement that wasn't by us, nor was it for us. And so it's hard to argue that he saved us when we are the property of Israel.
Okay, this is what I
Now
mean.
you're the property of white man.
No. All right, look.
You didn't own those ships. You wish you
Actually,
owned all those boats. White people love
that's
boats, and you wish you
that's what
owned
I
all those
came up here
boats.
to say. You goddamn cracker barrel. Thank you, sir. We are look. The designation is a property of America, which makes you property of white man. That is true, right? But white man's a property of the Semites because they pay the bills, so that's also true.
That's
So
bullshit.
secondhand Semite ownership. I'm with you. What I
Yeah,
wanted to say was there were so few slaves in America, especially from Africa. The movie Roots and black women have done more to destroy the morale of black America than slavery did. Jim Crow was worse than slavery. But slavery was the best time in American history for black women. So you can never go past like before slavery to your core. It's weird.
this is why I got to shout out a person like Hood because like when the whole fucking fentanyl Floyd thing was going on, like I seen a lot of online conversations and I seen people arguing about it. Just I was just observing, and there was like a lot of white people that was just talking about like the small hats and like what actually went down, because like most of the conversations about race goes back to like slavery and shit, right? So when they were explaining stuff, like I wasn't trying to hear them, but like that's why it's great to have like a person like Hood and other people that can actually break the shit down.
This is a Semite.
Well, this is Semite Saturday, sir. Don't shoot the messenger.
All right.
Yeah, because somebody in the chat said like, 'cause I was having a conversation with somebody in the chat, and I was saying that yeah, the small hats they he was like they owned, like there was a lot of them that actually owned slaves, but I was hearing that they were financing it as well instead of just like owning them themselves, like offering loans and shit like that.
Not only that,
I was trying to hear
they
it,
were
but
insuring them. If
yeah,
you want to,
exactly.
if you want to know what's going on in the world, follow the money. If people took the time to look at the U.S. Census from 1860, there was a census there. Look at the U.S. Census and then juxtapose that to the insurance that people had on property because slaves were property. you come to a little bit over 70,000 out of 6 million people. Yet somehow in the 1970s, while everybody was high, every black person became from Africa and a slave. It's the craziest shit ever.
No, that wasn't 1970s. It was like 1860 or whatever that quote was from.
No, I'm talking about the like when I was a 70s baby raised in the 80s, right? Might as well say I'm an 80s baby, but I remember girls saying my grandma said I got Indian in my family. My sisters are black because they choose to be, but they got the paperwork saying that we Indian. But she don't want to change her social designation because it's more money in being a black woman because they get free stuff. After the movie Roots hit and they put all the AV projectors in everybody's elementary school to show the slave thing happen, all of a sudden people became descendants of slaves. It was never a thing until like 1980. Black was a thing. Everybody being a slave was not a thing until 1980.
Well, and also another thing that I noticed about like the whole like H-man thing is that typically when they talk about like what allegedly went down like at that time, they try to say that like they included black people in that as well. But recently, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've learned that they were talking about like after the Civil War in America that they were friendly to black people, and even like in the modern era now, like I've seen like some content creators talking about they went over there and they are friendly to black people.
This is what happened. Since you want to talk 1860, this is what happened. Around 1879, 1880, two designations happened. A naturalized Indian, which y'all call $5 Indians, and the Jewish faith of religion. Both were black, right? That's how you get $5 Indian. They pushed out the blacks from being the original American version of Jews and made them Pentecostal, which is ironic because black people ain't even Pentecostal now. It's crazy. And both of those things in juxtaposition, whatever is going on, that's their side. Right now, LGBT, they got a Jewish dude in a dress running our military. Whatever is going on for $5, that's their side. They're culture vultures. They're every shit. What's my man from Def Jam? That Dame Dash keep calling the culture vulture. Can't think his name. They all culture vultures. Side work. White man, you chewing grass? What's going on with you?
I think it's chewing tobacco.
What are you talking about, dude? I'm muted.
Look like a cow. We thought you was chewing grass. Oh, all right. All right. All right.
What percent
Yeah,
is
Leo
it?
Cohen. Thanks, bro. Infinite.
What
Yeah.
percent is it? I can't see it, Snowman.
Can't nobody read your penis peel label, bro.
Yeah, that shit's small as hell. I can't even see what that says.
It's 90.1 milligrams.
Of goodness.
Yes, sir. Of awesomeness.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm about to eat 2 of these, which is generally frowned upon, but I want to get really high.
Well, milligrams have a different like it is a different like equation basically.
It is. It's a big difference.
Like regular THC percentage.
Hey,
So
Black Thoughts, I've heard that before, by the way.
Sorry?
No, I was talking to Black Thoughts. Hood, he masturbating right now. He said allegedly the H-man said they left Israel brown and returned white. I've heard that one too, bro. I didn't hear it from the H-man, but I've heard that about that period of history.
No, Hood did say he had to step away like a while ago before we started talking.
Like the sucker I have is only 10 milligrams per sucker.
If
Well,
you
I mean,
suck,
I
you
did
not swallow. That's all I'm saying.
I did just buy some pre rolls over the other day, and they were 41%.
That ain't bad. Usually the stuff that I get, like when I get my concentrates, they're anywhere between 90 and 95%.
Well, those are concentrates. This is like just an infused pre roll. But in terms of like concentrates, the highest I've had was 94%. But that was a vape.
Yeah, I love them. I'm down to my last few edibles. I need to go hit the dispensary up
We
again.
ain't gonna make this a drug user. We passed the cocaine and box wine. That was the beginning of the show. We ain't taking the fucking addicts. Say down with dope.
This turned into an Al-Anon meeting.
Yeah, down with Shout out to that L. Ron Hubbard. See what I'm saying? How I could flip back and forth from Jesus to L. Ron. How they interchangeable. Shout out to Alkanon. L. Ron Hubbard in the house.
Hey, shout out to the dude who pointed out that those titties were the ones that killed Jesus too. By the way.
Yeah, shout out to that too. Them prostitute titties killed Jesus.
And yeah, I did make a comment in the chat after he said that. I was saying that uh Mary Magdalene was a Jew, by the way.
I understand. She was still pro.
She wasn't just a Jew; she was a whore Jew.
She was a pro. Yeah, she was a pro Jew.
Exactly. My point is that even Jesus was simping over her.
I say that all the time. You know,
simping over them titties.
And you know why I have a problem. If Jesus didn't sell so many necklaces and books, why would I have a problem with it? Because everything that
I don't understand why he didn't stay with his initial marketing game, man, of wine and fish.
Yeah, the fish game was crazy. But everything that Jesus get credit for is really Paul. That's my problem with it. So
did you say is Pog?
Paul, formerly known as Saul.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like Pog as in fat ass white girl.
No, he's talking about the apostle
Paul. No, that's a white boy thing. Black guys don't even think that, bro. Like we just call it Iowa. We don't call him Paul. Like, yo, he moved to Iowa. Or Indiana. Or Elkhart. We also call it Elkhart.
That's fucked up, man. How you gonna slander Elkhart like that?
Hey, man.
Well, Elkhart is kind of the armpit of Indiana.
Jesus was not the first pimp, though. Jesus was the first dude that came into the brothel and saved the hoes, bro. And the hoes left. Everybody invite the hoes to leave. Jesus the first one to make the hoe get up like, all right, I'm going with him.
No, let me cook for a second. Like, he was the first pimp because, like you said, he went into them brothels. He went into them brothels and he got them hoes out, but he got them on his team. Last time I checked,
No, I can't even knock that. I can't knock
one of the one of the biggest religions, if not the biggest religion in the world right now. They're making billions.
But that wasn't because of Jesus. So, like, everything about Jesus wasn't about Jesus. It's not like Muhammad. Muhammad came through, said, "Man, I heard a voice, and I got a knife. So we gonna get down and lay down." Muhammad did that. Jesus didn't get hot for like 300 years. Jesus is like a painter they got $1 million painting, but they only got $10 for it when they did it at the airport. Like 50 years, like Basquiat. Basquiat just sold for $7 million. He was selling them paintings for $500 in the 80s. Like Jesus got hot after he died. Like most rappers, right? Like most rappers.
In terms of religion, this was an interesting concept because,
I like that.
I've learned a bit of I've learned a bit about different religions, and I have actually studied Islam for a bit, even though like my main religion was Christianity, and because I was having this conversation with Dr. Thunder, talking about religion, and I told him I was like I kind of preferred Islam just for not for the you could have multiple wives, which I was saying I preferred it for the fact you could defend yourself, because in Christianity it's like turn the other cheek type shit.
That's not true, but okay.
What? Well, exactly. That's the point I was getting to because if you know who Dr. Thunder is, he's an Orthodox Christian, and he told me he was like, Christ had a sword, right? I
You
was
know
like,
they had
sure,
the whole
I know that.
crusades, right? Like 5 of them, right?
Yeah, but modern day they don't like to talk about that kind of stuff.
The first boats that came to America slashing people had crosses on it. Look, they only give the slaves that part of the nobody else believes that. Just the slaves believe that. Because in order to love um your captor, whether it's Keisha or the Semites, you have to love your oppressor. That's why the people with the worst moms will fight you the quickest over a your mama joke. You got to love your oppressor in order to be a good Christian. In the way that they prescribe it today, but it's not true. It's not true. Islam cool. I'm not a fan, but it's cool.
Islam's not cool.
Don't be a hater your whole life, white man. Islam cool.
I'm allowed to.
I mean, it's your prerogative as an American. I can't take away your hate.
Sounds like that's what you're trying to do, though.
I could self correct.
Fair enough. I'll give you that. Thanks for recognizing where you were wrong.
Yeah, because I would hate for somebody to take away my righteous hate.
Yeah, what kind of white man would I be if I took your hate away?
The average white man.
That's not even fair.
Love thine enemy ass white man.
You can eat shit.
I'm not African, sir. I don't eat shit. That sounded racist. I got to give myself a racist point. That was racist.
That was more racist than my racism.
What do you mean? Black people can't be racist?
I ain't black.
No, he was talking about black people eating shit.
No, I was talking about Africans eating shit.
See, I took it and you made it even more racist because I was just assuming that you meant black people.
Nah, I was talking about them Africans. What should they be eating? But that's racist. I apologize to all y'all tethers, all y'all motherfuckers that openly hate us, but when it's convenient, you be like, but you black though. Until I say y'all ain't one, I was that's why I hate Americans. Y'all niggas ain't shit. Lazy fucking Americans. But
well, you really aren't.
Look, bro.
Just saying.
Look, me being ain't shit don't make them more shit, right? Me being ain't shit is powerful. I use my ain't shitness for good. It take one to know one too, by the way. I wasn't gonna let it. I was gonna let it slide, but I don't want people to think I'm getting soft on you. Yeah, it takes one to know one though.
That is true.
All right, I'm back. Thank y'all for holding it down. And no, dirty folks, I wasn't jerking off. You really must know I had to take a giant old man shit, and it was
He
just
was
killing
jerking
me. It
off.
was about to end the whole show. It was about to destroy the entire show.
What if it
Yeah,
makes you
I
But
feel
feel
better?
you on
Look,
it'd be like
even though
that
that was
sometimes.
TMI, if it makes you feel better, that's why I was late hopping on the Panna because I was like, yo, let me relieve myself before I hop on this.
Nah, it'd be like that sometimes.
Somebody take the link.
I mean, he did kind of Paul Pierce it though, like, I'm crippled, put a wheelchair out, just so he can take a shit.
Hood, since
Nah.
you're back up, there's a question that I. Go ahead.
Now you said there was a question. What were you saying?
There was a question that I asked earlier in the chat. Maybe Snowman might have an answer for this because this is something that I noticed like years ago. It had to have been at least like 5, 6 years ago. It was talking about like how white American Christians are supporting Israel for some reason.
Oh, that's so funny you say that, bro. It's so fucking funny because you literally read my mind. We are about to talk Christian Zionism.
Believe
If
in
you don't get
Jesus
off the
Christ or
goddamn
Israel.
screen,
So
man,
how
what
could
the
you
hell is
look at
going
an
on down there?
unsaved person and say that they are Israel when the Bible says all
Oh, this
Israel shall
fucking
be
guy's
saved?
playing
That tells me
arcade
that
games.
anybody who's not
This
saved.
son of a bitch playing arcade. We are fighting Christian Zionism. What are you playing? Street Fighter?
Pac-Man or something, you know. Oh,
I'm playing Blitz.
oh, that's older than
Okay.
Pac-Man. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's playing boomer
All right.
games.
He said boomer.
Is not Israel. And it's the Antichrist, not Jesus Christ. It's the Antichrist who is going to unite Jews with false Christians with every other religion of the world.
In order for the Jewish Antichrist to unite all religions of the world, the devil must convince mainstream Christianity to see the Jews as fellow believers, in spite of their rejection and blasphemy of Jesus Christ. Televangelists such as John Hagee ignore the clear teachings of the New Testament and apply the promises made to Abraham in Genesis 12, verses 1
Somebody
through
has a
3.
YouTube
To mock
YouTube tab open and it's causing an echo right now.
modern-day Christ-rejecting Israel. Anyone who holds a biblical view that the Jews are no longer God's chosen people
You still have the echo?
is labeled by the media as an anti-Semite.
Israel's fight is our fight. We are one. We are united. We will not be discouraged. We will not be defeated. We will not be intimidated. We will not sit down. We will not be silent. We are the worst nightmare of the anti-Semites of the world. The victory is going to be ours.
If you will not stand with Israel and the Jews, then I will not stand with you. Thank you, and God bless you.
No, we stand with the people of Israel.
I am asking you to join with me and every Christian and every Jew and every freedom-loving American to demand that this president and Congress do whatever is necessary to eradicate the evil of ISIS and radical Islam from the face of the earth. It is time to act now.
And I will bless them that bless you, and curse him that curses you.
You don't want to be an enemy
And
of
in
Israel.
you shall all families of the earth be blessed.
Yes, amen.
You're either for or against her. You're one of the two.
The man, the church, the nation that blesses the state of Israel, the Jewish people, will be blessed beyond measure.
Blessing Israel doesn't just mean, say, well, I bless you.
Yeah.
You have to stand with them in their hour of need.
Of course, the Bible's...
Now, this is part of the reason why the right wing is so cucked. That they pretty much just laid it out on a theological level. Like, we didn't even get into money and blackmail, but just keep it at the theological level. This is why the right wing is so cucked, because a lot of them and a lot of their, religious followers, they believe in their heart of hearts that you have to stand with Israel, like literally.
says in 2 John 9 through 11 that whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ hath not God. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ, he hath both the Father and the Son. If there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed. For he that biddeth him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deeds. And what are you doing when you bid someone Godspeed? You're blessing them. So today's evangelical Christianity is saying that we must bless Israel if we want God to bless us. Yet 2 John teaches that if we bless those who deny the Son of God, we are a partaker of their evil deeds.
Evangelicals, of course, are a great segment of American Christianity. The Southern Baptists, the Pentecostals, the Assembly of God, all of these are very fervent groups. And they've basically been very pro-Israel, pro-Zionist. Many of them have actually closed the door to conversion by saying, oh, well, you don't need Jesus. You're a Jew.
In the Houston Chronicle, John Hagee was quoted as saying, I'm not trying to convert the Jewish people to the Christian faith. There is nothing in the Night to Honor Israel that does that. In fact, trying to convert Jews is a waste of time, he said. The Jewish person who has roots in Judaism is not going to convert to Christianity.
Now, when I talk about things like with the LGBT movement and its concept of allyship, right, being a good ally, and I point out how the allyship only goes one way. So you have to be an ally to them. You have to support them in their homosexual endeavors, right? But they are not compelled to be an ally to you. They are not compelled to support you in your heterosexual endeavors, right? So you have to go out of your way to make them feel safe and comfortable and secure. But they are not compelled to do anything to make you feel safe and comfortable and secure, right? Same exact connection right here with Christians and Zionism. You will see the Christian church and members of the Christian church going out of their way, literally altering hundreds of years of Christian understanding in order to get friendlier with these people. However, the Jewish people that they get friendly with, that they basically sacrifice their forefathers' religion for, they never open up their religion to be friendlier to you. And I just noticed this one-way allyship thing. It's always weird when you see it.
Everyone else, whether Buddhist or Baha'i, needs to believe in Jesus, he says, but not Jews. Jews already have a covenant with God that has never been replaced with Christianity.
And really, that's the most anti-Semitic thing you could possibly say. Don't evangelize the Jews, because that's going to send the Jews to hell. The Bible says, he that believeth on the Son hath everlasting life, but he that believeth not the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God abideth on him. Yet John Hagee teaches that the Jews are already good to go. We don't need to evangelize the Jews.
Well, John Hagee is totally wrong. The Bible tells us that we are to win the lost, and we are to preach the gospel to every creature. Now, I mentioned earlier about C.I. Scofield being divorced and remarried. Isn't it interesting that John Hagee is the same story? Divorced his wife, remarried another lady, and leads a large Pentecostal church and emphasizes Israel to the point of idolatry.
Free is free indeed. Give him praise and glory in the house of God.
From the 18,000 people who belong to his church in San Antonio, Texas,
John Hagee today,
to the 99 million homes he says tune into his weekly radio and television broadcast, John Hagee has built an empire sharing the gospel of Israel with evangelicals around the world.
Jesus Christ.
Did you know that it's a tradition in Israel for Jews to spit on Christians?
I know this. I did not know that. I know this. Let me give you in Chicago, they have a Stop the Violence campaign on the radio, right? They be like, put the guns down. That's their mantra, right? Somehow they'll fit that in between Chief Keef and King Vaughn. Stop the violence. Like, kill a nigga. Look. The entire Bible is motherfucker saying, I got a golden calf. Fuck these people. Going to slavery because they're going against the word of God. Killing who they say was God's son. That's their book. Their entire book. Fucking their best friend wife, then killing their best friend. That's their whole book. And they be like, yo, they cool with God. Like, how, nigga? How? But what do black women do? King Vaughn is now a saint. That nigga was a sociopath. But now he's a saint. Oh, they always kill the real ones. Word. Same thing, bro. Niggas do it every day, bro.
Yeah, Christian Zionism is a weird thing, bro. It's like pigs who love hot dogs.
Pigs who like hot dogs is wild.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just going through some. It's kind. I'll give you guys a pointer. You can never like skim through Twitter live on air because any search that you put up on Twitter, you're literally liable to like pull up some kind of pornography. And so like I'm kind of. I mean, no actual porn. Like, no, she'll be getting banged by a black dude. Like that. That's the stuff that'll pull up, and you'll just type on. Like, I just typed "spit Christians." That's literally what I typed in the search: "spit and Christians," so I can pull up a video like that. And I know sooner or later I'm gonna scroll down and there's gonna be porn on the timeline because it's Twitter, and that's just how Twitter rolls.
Paid ass, bro.
All right, let me see. What else did I have bookmarked? I had something else I was going to pull up because I kind of got to the end of the whole Jewish thing, but then we open up the panel. We have a whole nother conversation about it. But now I just got the weird, funny clips.
Victoria Lee Zubeth Ross, Jessica Lynn Bower, Alisuna Cole Bishop, Allison Care Camp Bull, Tom Mulmay, Thomas.
What the fuck is going on? This is the bachelor. This is a college. This is college level. You can't even read names right.
Victoria.
What really happened here?
Lee Zubeth Ross, Jessica Lynn Bower, Alisuna Cole Bishop, Allison Care Camp Bull, Tom Mulmay, Thomas.
I mean, is she like dyslexic? What the fuck was going on there?
That ass can't read, bro. I keep trying to tell people. Look, bro. I sleep with teachers and I hang with teachers. All they do is be lesbian, sniff coke, and can't read, bro.
When I saw sniff coke and be gay, that's crazy.
I'm dead ass, bro. Like when I saw the motherfuckers, they got a text message, and I saw them read the text message with the finger under the word, and I say, "Nigga, you teaching our kids? You can't read."
Oh wait, damn, the universe is in sync with me. This is why we got to definitely keep this as a Rumble only stream. I know it's so random right now, but it is what it is. This is what we're doing right now.
This woman was watching the Twin Towers burning from her apartment in New Jersey. She noticed three men on top of a van posing for pictures with the towers burning in the background.
And I could see that they were like happy. You know, they didn't look shocked to me. You know, they didn't look shocked. I thought it was very strange.
The witness called police, who stopped the van hours later and arrested 5 men. All 5, it turns out, were Israeli. They were turned over to the FBI. Sources tell ABC News during a check of national security data.
If anybody ever tells you the dancing Jews things is fake, just know you know what you know. You know what you saw. An ABC News investigation. John Miller knows what he put out on ABC June 21, 2002.
This woman was watching the Twin Towers burning from her apartment in New Jersey. She noticed 3 men on top of a van posing for pictures with the towers burning in the background.
And I could see that they were like happy. You know, they didn't look shocked to me. You know, they didn't look shocked. I thought it was very strange.
The witness called police, who stopped the van hours later and arrested 5 men. All 5, it turns out, were Israeli. They were turned over to the FBI. Sources tell ABC News during a check of national security databases, some of the men were listed as having had connections with Israeli intelligence. At the FBI, that set off alarm bells. The FBI needed the answers to 3 important questions. Who were these men? What brought them to that parking lot on the morning of September 11th? And did they have any advance knowledge of what was going to happen that day? The men said they were just taking pictures at the time. They said they worked for a company called Urban Moving. The FBI obtained a search warrant for the company's offices.
2 SUVs were filled up with between 9 and 12 boxes and computers.
Not long after the arrests, the offices of Urban Moving were simply abandoned. Almost everything was left behind. In jail, the 5 Israelis were repeatedly interrogated and given lie detector tests. Stephen Gordon was their American lawyer.
They were asked questions if they had ever been approached by or hired by any non-United States intelligence community.
While there is still some debate among American intelligence officials, many investigators believe some.
It actually gets deeper too, because I think they wound up back in Israel, and they became like little mini celebrities. But yeah,
those are the 5 guys. I don't know whose show I was watching, but they were redacted in the report, and then they popped up in Israel doing the George Zimmerman thing, like with the Skittles bag. They doing that in Israel. They like local celebrities. They go do appearances. Yeah.
I just knew this. I just learned this recently too. Apparently, all right. So like, if you watch that movie that Oliver Stone did, JFK, and they give you all these things about was it the mob or whatever. And I even read there was a book from San Giancana. He's a Chicago gangster, and I think they called it like the outfit or whatever way back in the day. But Sam Giancana was like number 1 or 2. Him and his brother, I think they were up in the mob high up, and there was like allegations that the mob had something to do with having Kennedy killed and all that. But recently I start to see all this argumentation, let's call it that, this evidence, quote unquote, that basically during the time, the lead up to Kennedy being killed, Israel wanted to get nukes, right? And Kennedy didn't want them to have nukes. And they was basically doing the Iran thing. Like, listen, we're going to send in inspectors and make sure you guys ain't building no bombs and stuff like that. And Israel was like, nah, we ain't going to do none of that. And next thing you know, Kennedy's dead. And now they don't have to answer questions to nobody. And it's like, I wonder if that's really what's going on here.
Even if we're not, right? Because the story I heard with the same people, though, was that Kennedy wanted to stop the World Bank. Same result, though.
Yeah, it's like different enemies, same guy. How's that work? That's weird. This is one of those topics though where like again you go down all these other rabbit holes and you wind up back in this one rabbit hole no matter what. It's just a weird way that works.
Here's how I would disseminate it, right?
The cocky funny opener. This one takes a little bit more confidence, but you can walk up to the girl. I do this all the time myself and say, "Hey, you're almost as cute as me. What's your name?" And all.
As he plays porn in the background, trying to skip past that good stuff. Here's my philosophy in life. I know everything the Semites are. You know how they say, you know who rules you by who you can't criticize?
Yeah.
And the only 2 people you can't criticize is Habib and Keisha. So I know what Habib is doing because Keisha gets her pecking order from Habib because black women are their women. They're not your women. That's why I don't fight for them. And it all makes sense. Like everything sounds like a conspiracy until you actually look at your black sister. You're like, oh, that's how that shit work. All right. It's not a conspiracy, bro. Well, it is a conspiracy. People conspire, but it's not as complicated or complex. It's not tinfoil theory. It's just the ultimate toddler. Like that's who your ops are, the ultimate toddler. The person that won't physically do it yourself, but will promote the fight.
Well, it's not. It's that's like the one element of it. But then, for me personally, what I started to realize is how intricate and maybe even sophisticated the control mechanisms, if you will, how they really work. Because so when we start talking about the way Keisha really operates and how the community operates, and then but there's this lie about the black community and we're all in this thing together. Now the question sort of becomes, well, how did this become? Like, how did this come to be? How do we get into this state? And then you realize bigger issues like, all right, no book that gets printed without the okay of the overlords or whatever, right? I mean, put it this way: the same way that media, music and the news, they're not going to put out a lot of shows that are against the narrative or just openly critical of like Jews or whatever. It's the same way when it comes to like printing. So before there was the internet, there was books. If you think about like a lot of our black scholars, our race scholars, the Dr. Kress and the Van Sertima's, all these different people, I wonder how much of even stuff like that, like the whole black intellectual, the pseudo intellectual world, is really just like something funded by the Matrix or whatever, just to keep niggas on a fucking mental hamster wheel forever. Like this whole thing, the Kubian shit, it could all be set up just so niggas will forever be on the wrong path. Like, what if it's something like that that's really happening? You understand how deep that kind of conspiracy has to go?
It's not that okay. It's not that far fetched. But here's how that works. Here's how that works. The Semites control three major things, right? And all three are propaganda, right? So it's Hollywood, education, and banking, right? Well, banking not propaganda, but it is what it is, right? So in order to get in either of those things that start with either a script or a book, you would have to, on a major level, like to be scholastic or law and have everybody in the schools read your book, it has to go through a contract process. Now, anybody can get the contract. Here's the issue, though. The issue is, once again, the two people you can't criticize, right? So school is 99%, 98% liberal women, right? Either black or Jewish. And then what 1% gay, then it's that one dude that's a gym coach and the janitor. You know what I mean? So when you go through the contract portal, there's normally a liberal woman that's there to say no. So she could have an overlord. Don't get it twisted. She could be the guard dog. But that's how that happens. So even when you're in a state like a status of like a Catholic school or a boarding school, they try to, and they can't control your books. So instead they control your funding to make you take the books. Like you gonna eat the cake anime. Like right now they're telling Catholic schools if they don't have LGBT studies that the government will cut their free lunch program out. Like what?
Right. Well, imagine being a Christian, and look, you can read whatever Bible you want, but we sell all the Bibles that ever get printed. Like that's the deal, right? You can you read whatever Bible you want, but the reality is you got to buy every Bible from me. And so that it becomes this weird invisible matrix of sorts. And I was sort of pontificating that whole thing about like the whole black intellectual class. Like, what if that whole thing is just a giant con? The whole from top to bottom. What if the whole thing is just a giant fucking scam to give smart niggas something to do and keep most niggas stupid. Like, what if that's exactly what's going on? But I want to talk about something else a little bit too. Let's go back to Kuramayo's channel for a minute here. Why are black people in America Muslim? I know this sounds like it has nothing to do with Jews at all, right? But perhaps hear me out, because Freemasonry is heavily tied to Jewish mythology and Jewish concepts and imagery and whatnot. The building of Solomon's temple, the murder of Hiram of Biff, and all. There's all kinds of stuff in the mythology of Freemasonry that basically makes it Judaism for non-Jews. Like, you might not have that genetic mark or whatever, but you can still do these things and be like kind of like one of us, but not really though.
Why? And the group leading up to the NOI's formation and those who rose out of it. These groups are created of necessity because of the unfavorable social atmosphere toward African Americans in the United States at the beginning of the 20th century. The groups that lead up to the Nation of Islam were the United Negro Improvement Association, led by Marcus Garvey and the Moorish Science.
If you want to
Temple.
stop at any point, just let me know.
Yes, you hear that? Again. The groups that led up to the Nation of Islam were the United Negro Improvement Association. And that was led by Marcus Garvey and the Moorish Science Temple, founded by Noble Drew Ali in allegiance. I will touch on each of these groups and show their relation to the Nation of Islam and the
Now, Garvey is a Mason, and the Moorish Science Temple, founded by the Noble Drew Ali. Drew Ali, I wouldn't call him a Mason per se, but he's a high level in the adept sort of occult world. There are plenty of other groups that exist parallel to Masonry.
influence that these two groups had on W.D. Farr and Elijah Muhammad, the two men who are responsible for the creation of development of the NOI theology. We're at the New York Times here, right? And there's an article here. They were talking about something that had happened in 1920. So this is an article from May 22nd, 1993, section 1, page 18. You can buy the originals right there, this little section right here. Now it says, Black Muslims enter Islamic mainstream, front page, May 3. Misses a key historical fact on the introduction of Islam in America. Now it says the Ahmadiyya movement in Islam, an Orthodox universal community, was the first successful organized effort to introduce Islam in the United States and was most successful among African Americans, so-called African Americans. Check your genealogy. We already broke it down. It was a whole movement to put this like doctrine into you. There was a whole movement from all the way on the other side of the world. Missionaries were sent to America. Missionaries were sent to America by the Ahmadiyya movement to propagate Islam. The first being Mufti Muhammad Sadiq, who landed in America on February 15th, 1920. Muhammad Sadiq became close to the Universal Negro Improvement Association, founded by Marcus Garvey, and preached Islam to the Garveyites, whose members then included Elijah Muhammad and who? Noble Drew Ali. They were part of the Universal Negro Improvement Association.
Now, if you can't tell, this is the birth of the Nation of Islam right here. So this is the guy that gave Elijah Muhammad his start.
They were part of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. All right, so now we're in this article from the University of California, Riverside. It says Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple, a study in race, gender, and African American religion, 1913 to 1930. This is a dissertation submitted in partial satisfaction of the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and History by Stephanie Ann Wilms. Like it says, it takes into account of the influences Marcus Mosiah Garvey and the Universal Negro Improvement Association had on Moorish science, the impact of Freemasonry and photography, and the success and spread of Moorish science photography.
Again, the Freemasonry and the Moorish science are linked somehow. And this is all kind of murky, and it's 100-year-old information or whatever. So it's it's not like you were really on the ground. You can put the energy and the vibe together. But there seems to be some kind of connection between Freemasonry and the introduction of Islam in America to Black Americans. And my entire point for even seizing on this is like, holy shit, was this also a part of the plan? Like, think about this for a second, because I made this joke on, was I on SKC's or was he on my channel? But I was joking about, actually, I was over there I was on SKC's and that fucking idiot Stanley was on the show. And we're talking about Islam for some reason.
Fucking yes.
And I
Oh,
was
my
like,
bad.
And I was like, what if I was to tell you that Muhammad is actually a redheaded, 6-footed white man? He's a 6-foot redheaded white man. Most black people think of Islam as the black man's religion. You know, white man made y'all be Christians or whatever. This Islam, this is for the black man right here. And Muslim
Christianity started in Africa.
Well, I don't know if that's exactly true, but some of the oldest churches in the world are in Africa. But the point I was trying to make, though, is that we get sold Islam as the black man's religion, but Islam was most likely started by a white man, just as white as Jesus.
Yeah. Now, you know what's so crazy about that? I could say Noble Drew Ali started it. And before then, there was somebody else who was mixed. All these guys are mixed, by the way, Jewish and with black women. But here's the thing. The actual Arab Islam doesn't recognize fruit of Islam. They don't recognize black Muslims in America as
I
part
noticed that. Hey, here's another thing. If you know people personally who are active in the NOI, how often do they read the Quran? Like Bible, like Christians, they will quote the Bible. They will hit like, you know about this? Oh, that's just like that time where Abraham was talking about such and such. Like they will go back, they will connect every element of their life to the Bible. But I've known people, and maybe this is also a jail thing because I know jail Muslim niggas, but they don't really have a religious connection to Islam. They have a political connection to Islam.
Same thing with Moors, but yeah.
Like advertisement in the role of women within the early temple. Right. Research Abdul Hamid Suleiman, an Egyptian Muslim, reveals his organizing activities associated with the Canaanite temple and its connections to African American Freemasonry. Freemasonry, again, here we go. This information about Suleiman's activities and the Canaanite temple suggests that Noble Drew Ali and his creation of Moorish science may have been influenced by the work of Suleiman. Religious scholar Patrick B. Bowen identified in an article, Negro Freemasons Incorporated, in the New Brunswick Times on 4 February 1910, which reported the incorporation of Mecca Medina Temple of ancient free and operative Masons. In August 1922, Suleiman attended the African American Masonic Convention, where he presented himself to Caesar R. Blake Jr., the leader of the ancient Egyptian Arabic order, nobles of the mystic shrine, also referred to as the Black Shriners, and insisted that Shriners come under protection of Mecca Medina Temple, what he referred to as the true shrine. These insights about Suleiman and his connection to the earlier forms of Masonic Islamic organizations further complicate the history of Noble Drew Ali and the creation of the Canaanite Temple in 1913. Both Mecca, Medina, and the Canaanite Temple may have been, as Bowen suggests, one of the many African-American Masonic factions that had been springing up since 1894, inspired by rhetoric of the Black Shriner movement. Drew Ali may have been involved in the formation of the Canaanite Temple, but it seems that he previously documented the timeline of 1913 is highly unlikely. Moreover, it was not until 1920 that Drew Ali formally associated himself as a preacher, as documented in the 1920 census. Although it is not impossible that Drew had been involved in shaping the Canaanite Temple, his presence has not been documented in any sources related to the organization. So here's a newspaper article. Let me just try this one in. All right, it says, convert sought by Muhammad,
pause real quick.
drive among Negroes of U.S. Dr. Abdul Harshan Suleiman.
I don't want to bust colored bubbles, right? Because I'm in every gang. I'm a Mason too. I'm in every gang, right? Here's another fun fact. Black men who are Masons take their street gang above their Masonic order. It's crazy. But anyway, I digress. So here's the thing. Noble Drew Ali was basically I don't want to call him a charlatan, but he was a salesman, right? A medicine water type of salesman.
Snake oil.
Snake oil, thank you. He was a snake oil salesman. So the reason, from my understanding, what he did was he took chapters out of several other books and glued them together and made his own doctrine. I actually did a show on Noble Drew Ali. Y'all should check out my channel about that traitor ass Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali, two most overrated people in quote unquote black history, who not American black, but I digress. So the formation of it is essentially a Reader's Digest, which the Bible is too. It's like 56 different books, but his books are of other books. It's not like people wrote books and he put them together. He took chapters out of established religions and did a control F or alt F and just changed the words. It's crazy.
I think that's actually the idea, though. If you look at how religion works, if you can create a religion, you can basically create a control mechanism, right? And so whether you create a religion from scratch or you just take an old religion and try to freak it on some new people, the whole purpose of it is to gain some kind of control and leverage over them. And then whatever you do with that control, that may be something totally different, but the point is always the same.
I got a theory. All black religion revolves around getting more bitches. That answers your jailhouse question, right? Why don't black Muslims know the Quran? Because they got into it because they heard they can get more than one bitch. And because they didn't want to get raped in jail.
And you can control, that too. And you can control your bitch too. That's what I think is going on with that. Like, black folk have always been into Islam, but it's more for political black power reasons. But this phenomenon of like white folks in Europe embracing Islam, I think one, it's obvious like cultural bullying and shit because they be beating up white kids over there. And then two, there is that whole thing of like order and control, and it's a masculine religion. And modern Christianity just isn't the Christianity it used to be. Like, modern Christianity used to slap the shit out of hoes. Nowadays, you're not even allowed to call a bitch a bitch.
Well,
you don't go
Hood,
to heaven.
Hood, I want to jump in on what you were talking about earlier when you were talking about like religion as a control mechanism. That's why I really like that show Vikings, because it was really speaking about that, because I have read a lot about that, and I have seen a lot about that, where it's like basically whoever comes into power, they just destroy like all the fucking old books and scrolls, and they kill off anybody that, like all the like academics and shit like that from the past.
Okay, let me address that. That's true. That's true. You can burn the Council of the books of Alexandria all you want, right? They changed Juneteenth in real time. I think I used to do Juneteenth book fairs, bro. They changed the date of Juneteenth, bro, just to give you a holiday. And then F7, the whole Google. I said, what the fuck? I had to go look at my old flyers. Like, hold on, that wasn't a date. Here's the thing, man. He who writes history makes the rules. As far as black people wanting to use religion as control, can I ask y'all some simple questions? What city is Reverend Jesse Jackson from?
I have no idea. I would say somewhere in Georgia, but I don't know. He might be from Newark. I don't know.
Where does he reside? Well, he was born in Mississippi. Where does he reside? Where did his ministry start?
Still don't know.
Chicago. Where's the Honorable Louis Farrakhan? Where does his ministry? Chicago.
A lot of black stuff happens in Chicago. Chicago's been a black mecca for a while.
Oh, wow. And every time you think about crime, violence, gangs, illiteracy, you think Chicago, Baltimore first, probably, then Chicago. So the control mechanism, no. They try to use it to influence people, but mostly women, which was the whole diatribe. That wasn't your show. I was on Truism last night, and I had to tell them about the Church of Beyonce. Like, yo, the only people that go to church is women and gays, right? The true black.
Well, Dirty, to what you just said, like you said that like you don't think it's a control mechanism, but you're saying that it's used to influence women. So wouldn't that be a control mechanism?
That is a political control mechanism because women vote, but it doesn't create order and structure, which is what the religion was, especially Islam, was built to do. Islam was both a religion and a political party at the same time.
Yeah, but see, the purpose of inducting black Americans into something like Islam isn't for order and structure. That's why they're not really into the doctrine of it. They're into the blackness of it because it's the black man religion, right? It's literally to promote chaos and disorder in the American system. And this is why I started looking at this particular phenomenon with a new eye, because like, why are we so we used to be heavily Christian, and now we're like, fuck church. A lot of us are Muslim, and I'm wondering how it all started. And you learn things like this, and you start wondering, well, was it all a part of the great work?
Well, like to what you just said, Hood, like, 'cause if you're talking about Islam, I'm assuming you're talking about like the Nation of Islam, like their version of Islam, and like, and then you have like a guy like Malcolm X that actually went to Mecca and like noticed that it was people of different races like practicing Islam, so it wasn't like the white people are all devils and shit like that. It's treat people how you want to be treated type shit.
Ain't no fun in
Exactly.
that, bro.
That was a literal conflict in the movie. That was a huge turning point in the movie. It's like,
Yeah.
damn, he was on some race shit, and technically Islam is a universal God. So like, as long as you all worship and follow the rules, you should be good with Islam. Now everybody's like, racist in their own way, like the Arabs like Arabs or whatever, but
It's tribal.
the objective rule still holds, right? And so he kind of realized, damn, I've been kind of getting gassed up using this religion to fight a race war, and it was never built for that.
There can be something to be said about the tiny hats taking everything from the whatever shade, the Tonys and the Swarthies, regardless what you think the natives were or whatever. There's something to be said about that, from the $5 Indian to the Pentecostal church to taking the name Jew to taking Judaism. Well, they were Judaists, but to take the Jewish thing. There's videos about that. There's documents from like 1903 about that. I can even say, because once again, Drew Ali, half Jew, and the person he got it from was a full Jew. Like, I can't think of his name because I don't care. But everything that they got, it's very possible they was like, yo, Christianity might bond them and into American culture. Let's bring some anarchy in by saying it's the white man's religion, which it wasn't. It was the Arab religion, but don't worry about that, right?
And Muhammad is a 6-foot red-headed white man. You guys think I'm just saying that? You guys think I'm just saying that? You know what? I gotta put some respect on my own name, because sometimes even my own audience be like, "This nigga just be saying shit," and I'm like, "Nah, bro, nah. Listen, I have sources. I have
Hey,
I
you know
have
this in elementary
there's
school,
video
cite your source,
evidence."
man.
Hold on, is
Cite
this
your
the right
source,
question?
man.
Is that the right question? What color was Muhammad? No. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay. Okay. Because motherfuckers, I don't ever want people to just be like, oh, this nigga be saying crazy shit. Like, no matter how crazy it sounds, I will preface it with, this is just me being crazy. But other than that, listen, I do not just pull shit out of my ass, bro, and then stand on it forever.
Pop quiz. Who's the whitest prophet in history? You're probably thinking Joseph Smith, founder of Mormonism, right? What if I told you there's a prophet out there who's so white, he makes Joseph Smith look like Malcolm X? He's
It's so funny too, because I remember at the time when I discovered this, like one of my homeboys, like I said, jailhouse, why nigga and shit. And so I didn't show him this video because I didn't want to like fuck with his energy or whatever. I was just like, nigga, I know. But I showed my other homeboy this shit, and we was just laughing about it. Like, bro, these niggas be so pro-black. It's hilarious. I ain't want to hurt his feelings though. This is what you do with your real friends, man. You don't be wanting to hurt their feelings sometimes.
He's so white, he makes a bowl of vanilla ice cream yell, "Get him out of here, he's blinding me." He's so white, his 9-year-old child bride didn't need a nightlight. What if I also told you that this pale, pasty white prophet had black slaves and referred to Ethiopians as raisin heads? Would you call him a racist? Or would you give him yet another free pass because our expectations automatically drop to the floor whenever we discuss the prophet of Islam?
Wait, pause real quick before you show the picture. I want to say something. I don't know about Raisin Head, but you know where more came from? olive skinned because they look like black olives. So I believe that part. That's all I want to say about that.
I don't even know if, well, because the word olive skinned, obviously you don't really look like black olives. The Mediterranean look isn't quite black olive neither, but I would argue that it probably is referring more to a Mediterranean look than, fucking pale Europeans.
All right, we can go. I want to see it. I want to see it.
Many people who haven't read the Muslim sources assume that Muhammad was dark-skinned, but Arabs are classified as Caucasians and they can exhibit a variety of shades and tones. So if we want to know what Muhammad looked like, we'll have to go through some of the descriptions of his appearance found in the Hadith. Now, if Muhammad were sitting in a crowd of his fellow Arabs, how would we spot him? Sahih al-Bukhari, number 63. Narrated Anas bin Malik, while we were sitting with the Prophet in the mosque, a man came riding on a camel. He made his camel kneel down in the mosque, tied its foreleg, and then said, "Who amongst you is Muhammad?" At that time, the Prophet was sitting amongst us, leaning on his arm. We replied, "This white man reclining on his arm." "Hey, which one of you is Muhammad?" "This white Tom Willis-looking white guy leaning on his white arm, that's who." But let's keep reading about a prophet who makes the Brady Bunch look like NWA. Sahih Muslim, 6081. It was narrated that Abu Juhayfa said, "I saw the messenger of Allah with a white complexion and some white hairs." White complexion with white hairs. Who knew that Anderson Cooper was a 7th century prophet? Sahih Muslim 6071. It was narrated from Al-Jurairi from Abu at-Tufail. I said to him, "Did you see the messenger of Allah?" He said, "Yes, he was white with an elegant face."
Saying he was a beautiful white man. Not just a white man, he was like Chad of Arabia.
Chad of Arabia is wild.
This guy's so white, he makes Queen Elizabeth look like Queen Latifah. And the Muslim sources go out of their way to remind us how white Muhammad was. They tell us about the whiteness of his shins, and the whiteness of his thigh, and the whiteness of his leg, and the whiteness of his stomach, and the whiteness of his forearms, and the whiteness of his armpits, and the whiteness of his cheeks. Based on these descriptions, a friend of mine who's a police sketch artist was able to put together a drawing of Muhammad. Have you seen this man? Kind of blends in with the whiteness of the paper. On a side note, to all my jihadi viewers, I can't figure out if this counts as a cartoon of Muhammad or not, but I don't really care. So, Muhammad was whiter than a bowl of Cool Whip. But when he wasn't busy being scooped onto a slice of apple pie, he was setting an example for his followers by keeping a tight rein on all his black slaves. Sahih al-Bukhari, 7263. Narrated Umar, I went to the house of the Prophet, and behold, Allah's messenger was staying in a mashraba, and a black slave of Allah's messenger was at the top of its stairs. I said to him, "Tell the Prophet that here is Umar bin al-Khattab." Then he admitted me. Sahih al-Bukhari, 6160.
Now it's interesting because we will always be told that Christianity somehow like supported our slavery, right? They taught us to be slaves. They taught us to be Christians so we could be good slaves, right? That's the shit they'll tell you. Meanwhile, the black man's religion is all about the slavery.
61. Narrated Anas bin Malik, Allah's messenger was on a journey, and he had a black slave called Anjasha, and he was driving the camels very fast, and there were women riding on those camels. Allah's messenger said, "Waihaka, O Anjasha, drive slowly the camels with the glass vessels," i.e. the women. Here's one about a black slave who was shot to death while unloading Muhammad's luggage, Sunan an-Nasai 3858. It was narrated that Abu Huraira said, "We were with the messenger of Allah in the year of Khaybar, and we did not get any spoils of war except for wealth, goods, and clothes. Then a man from Banu ad-Dubayb, who was called Rifa bin Zayd, gave the messenger of Allah a black slave who was called Middam. The messenger of Allah set out for Wadi al-Qura. When we were in Wadi al-Qura, while Middam was unloading the luggage of the messenger of Allah, an arrow came and killed him. The people said, 'Congratulations, you will go to paradise.' But the messenger of Allah said, 'No, by the one in whose hand is my soul, the cloak that he took from the spoils of war on the day of Khaybar is burning him with fire.'" Just to clarify, Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old girl, robbed caravans, and beheaded hundreds of Jews, but he's good. His black slave, by contrast, grabbed a cloak before the spoils were divided, so he's headed to hell. Welcome.
Niggas can't win nowhere, bro. Not even in the desert on a camel. Niggas can't win nowhere, bro. That's just crazy.
To Islam.
Be like that, man.
In Provisions of the Afterlife, pages 30 to 31, Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah lists 28 of Muhammad's male slaves and 12 of his female slaves. Some of these slaves were black, some were not. Muhammad renamed one of his black slaves Safina, which means ship. He called his slave Ship because he would load up the slave like a ship and make him carry everything. Muhammad apparently thought that black slaves were worth less than Arab slaves, since he once traded 2 of his black slaves for an Arab slave he wanted to set free. For an Arab slave he once traded, but apparently thought that black slaves were worth less than Arab slaves, since he slaved like a ship and make him carry everything. Muhammad apparently thought that black slaves were worth less than Arab slaves, since he once traded 2 of his black slaves for an Arab slave he wanted to set free because the Arab slave had converted to Islam. We know that Muhammad had sex with his female slaves because he eventually got one of them pregnant. Don't worry, a white leader getting a slave girl pregnant is only creepy when Thomas Jefferson does it. Speaking of leaders, mindlessly obeying Muslim leaders was so important to Muhammad that when he wanted to emphasize obedience, he told his followers that they had to obey even the worst leader imaginable. We find Muhammad's worst case scenario in Sahih al-Bukhari 7142. Narrated Anas bin Malik, Allah's messenger said, "You should listen to and obey your imam, even if he was an Ethiopian slave whose head looks like a raisin."
How come niggas is everybody's worst case scenario? Everybody's worst case scenario involves some niggas somehow, some way. Why is that?
Muhammad gives a similar example in Sahih Muslim 3138, where he commands his followers to obey their leader, even if he's a black slave with missing limbs. So the worst possible leader of a community of Muslims, according to Muhammad, would be a black slave. For the sake of clarity, I should point out that women are excluded from the hierarchy of possible leaders. Muhammad said that a nation will never be successful with a woman as a leader. But it gets worse.
It's weird. I've always said Muhammad was right about women. I'm not really a fan of Islam, but I've always firmly believed that Muhammad was just absolutely right about women. You know, not everybody's perfect.
First, Muhammad tells his followers what Satan looks like in Ibn Asaq, page 243. The apostle said, "Whoever wants to see Satan, let him look at Nabtal ibn al-Harith. He was a sturdy black man with long flowing hair, inflamed eyes, and dark ruddy cheeks."
Ooh.
Which one of you is the prophet? This white guy. What does Satan look like? That black guy.
Ooh.
Cheeks. He was a sturdy, page 243. The apostle said, "Whoever wants to see Satan, let him look at Nabtal ibn al-Harith. He was a sturdy black man with long flowing hair, inflamed eyes, and dark ruddy cheeks."
Muhammad says that you niggas are a representation of the devil.
Oh, yeah. What happened to your shaft? There is powerful niggardry at work here.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So, what if I was to tell you Muhammad was a 6-foot white guy? Are we good now? Are we all up to speed?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Look like snow. That's what motivational Mitch said. They look like snowman. I'll go with that.
They had black They had black sex slaves.
We got black sex slaves, bro.
I mean, all slaves are sex slaves. They just don't have
That
to say that part out loud.
So you telling
that sounds
me
an awful lot like chattel slavery, though.
Yeah. So you telling me black women had zaddy for over 2,000 years?
Pretty
Yes.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
Some things just don't change. I've made this joke before, and it's kind of horrible, but like, what if Africa was always like the Walmart of slavery? Niggas just be like, you be over in like India, chilling on the coast, be like, damn, I gotta build this monument. How we gonna get this thing done? Yo, let's just hop over to Africa and grab like 18 slaves, and then, you know.
It's not like Walmart. It's more like Sam's Club or Costco's.
Well, yeah, because buying in bulk, right? But you get the concept, right?
Yeah.
Well, even though it's not true, black people love to say how Africa was matriarchal. You're supposed to get conquered. If girls are your leader, you're supposed to get conquered.
I mean, I was reading up on it a minute ago. At least the Ethiopian Christians were able to drive them back and had to pay taxes. The Ottoman Empire did. So we got some dubs.
It's because they had the power of Jesus. Do you not understand what that means? They literally had the power of Jesus. Them
So you're
other
telling
niggas, they
me
were
niggas?
worshiping trees and shit, bro.
Get it again. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. I come in the name of Jesus. Repeat it after me, bitch. I come in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit.
That was like one of the it was one of the points made. This was like part of the reason why I know it's a forbidden name in this space, but that was one of the reasons why I even followed BGS was because he actually did a video about like daughters in trade, talking about like how the Dutch married into the African families because they wouldn't have survived the hardships of going into the jungle to actually collect slaves.
Yeah.
So they actually had to just get with families that were already selling them in the first place.
So you're telling me the best niggas to ally themselves with is the Ethiopians? Gotcha.
I didn't say Ethiopians, but I'm not sure where
And
you came from with that.
yeah, that was then. This is now. The Ethiopians ain't as Christian as they used to be.
I mean, some of them are, but
well, actually, since you brought up the Ethiopians, there was a conversation being had about with the whole like Israel Palestine thing about what's going on with those Ethiopian Jews like living in Israel, because apparently they're getting pretty poor treatment out there.
yeah, they're getting put on the front line from what I've heard. Some of them are like, I remember seeing this one story on YouTube about that one Ethiopian guy who's like an Air Force pilot or something like that.
Continue. I don't know the story.
Yeah, go ahead, but we don't know that story.
Oh yeah, it was on it's on YouTube. It was like flying for change. It was labeled like flying for change or something like that, and he was talking about his history about being an airline pilot and how he's like carving the way for Ethiopian Jews to make their mark on Israel.
Well,
Israel,
the reason why I brought it up,
the civil rights movement. That would be nice. We need a Martin Luther King for Israel.
They're trying that. They're trying that right now.
yeah, the reason why I brought that up because apparently they're receiving pretty poor treatment out in Israel.
Oh, listen, the airline pilot thing is nothing. They had a whole scandal where they sterilized a bunch of those Ethiopians. That's why when you mentioned them, I'm like, they didn't die off already. That's the whole point of getting sterilized. So eventually, we don't have to deal.
No,
with
that's
you
the
niggas.
weird thing though. There's millions of them.
Oh, yeah, I guess it wasn't enough.
Ethiopian Jews and Ashkenazi Jews.
You said that again? Hold on. You said there's more Ethiopians than Ashkenazis?
Yeah, because a lot of them aren't in Israel. I mean, most of them are in Israel, but there's a good section of them, like 40, probably like 40% of them aren't in Israel.
Oh, well, yeah. Plus, you can just like walk there from Ethiopia if you really had to. Oh, I want to hear more about early Islam in America. These things are all connected in my mind, or in a weird way. The Matrix doesn't leave things isolated, you know.
Yeah, I
get you. All fraternal organizations that has some impact on each generation. Freemasonry has been segregated for most of its history in the United States, yet its impact on both black and white societies cannot be disputed. Many leaders of both races have been members of this organization, and the teachings of Freemasonry show in their actions. Freemasonry had filled in a need in two cultures of both black and white. African Americans have transformed Freemasonry into a social and religious sect that continues to be driving force in society today. All right, so further down on this regarding Marcus Garvey, says Marcus Garvey was a member of the Prince Hall Freemasonry. All right, Marcus Garvey was a member of Prince Hall Freemasonry. Let's go back to Africa, right? What he was saying all the time, right? Mary Lefkowitz states, to a large extent, that UNIA was organized along Masonic lines. It had a significant benevolent function. It had a constitution based on the Masons. It also had a potentate, and potentate's helmet closely resembled the ceremonial hat worn by Masons in special parades. Note the picture above the Marcus Garvey in a similar uniform to that of a Knights Templar of the Masonic Order. All right, so let's go back. You see? We're talking about his dress, the way he dressed, and all that. Many African American Freemasons at the time believed that Freemasonry actually started in the advanced civilization of ancient Egypt. This helped African Americans identify with Freemasonry, as it was thought to be based on ceremonies in ancient Africa. One of the UNIA main doctrine was that black man should leave America and return to the homeland of Africa. You see, that's what Marcus Garvey was telling.
Now you see, this is some of the mind fuck again that's put on black people, right? This idea that the idea that masonry is tied to ancient Egypt, which it's tied to it, but not in the way that black people assume, not in some kind of Afrocentric kind of way. It's tied to ancient Egypt in the sense that Jews are tied to Egypt, right? But it's not really connected in any meaningful sense. The most of the like I was saying, most of the Masonic symbolism and the mythology connects to Jewish mythology. Now, whether or not those Jews were actually in Egypt while they were doing all this mythological shit, that's where the Egypt connection comes from. But it's not really like, some ancient Negro spiritual book. But that's how black people get sold shit.
Okay, let's say it's from Egypt, right? Even though the biggest charter is in Scotland, but let's say it's from Egypt. This is what colors don't understand. Egypt had been taken over by the Mesopotamians, which is really Greeks, a long time before. So when they think Egypt, they think black, because they think Egypt and Africa are synonymous. Egypt is damn near in the Middle East. Like it's not that much popping, and Egypt gets conquered more than the Lions lose football games until last season. Like Egypt really ain't. It's not black how they think black is.
Egypt, Egypt's basically the whore of civilizations. Had everybody up in there.
That's true as well. But also when it comes to like the pharaonic dynasties, right? So there's the people who like live there. Like you can just sort of stroll up into Egypt, as long as you mind your business and pay taxes or whatever. You probably can You can be cool, right? But then there's like the people who run Egypt. There's serious class distinctions when you start to look at how, especially ancient societies are structured, right? So at the higher levels, you got the nobility and the people who are royal and relatives of the royal family. I would argue the majority of like the famous pharaohs, the pharaohs that did big things or whatever, got written down in history. They were not. They weren't sub-Saharan African by any real measure. They were most
Not at all.
likely some variation of Caucasian. The same way I say Arabs are Caucasian. Arabs are like a subset of the Caucasian family, I guess you could say.
They're the Negroes of the Caucasian.
Something like that, right? The Egyptians, I mean, people say that about the Irish, but whatever. But people in Egypt were more likely to be something of Caucasian as opposed to being like some nigga from the Congo. But black folks will try to gas you up like Egypt was like the blackest thing and it was the best thing blacks ever did. And I'm like, nigga, all your management was white.
There you go reading books again, bro. You don't lose your black card.
Any African American
You know what? I didn't stop. I got too lazy to read books. I'll just be looking for really good YouTube content.
Masons at the time believed that Freemasonry actually started in the advanced civilization of ancient Egypt. This helped African Americans identify with Freemasonry, as it was thought to be based on ceremonies in ancient Africa. One of the UNIA main doctrine was that black man should leave America and return to the homeland of Africa. You see, that's what Marcus Garvey was telling you. Go back to Africa. All right, Noble Drew Ali in the Moorish Science Temple of America. A man named Timothy Drew. All right, so we just got his name was really Thomas Drew. All right, Thomas Drew founded the Moorish Science Temple in 1913. He was born in North Carolina on January 8th, 1886, right? Same day as the Thomas Drew, who actually has some census records. He converted to Islam after a visit to Saudi Arabia. Marcus Garvey and his group heavily influenced Drew, and after Garvey was deported in 1927, many of his followers joined Drew's organization, many of Garveyites, all right? Remember, they told us we're leaders in the Moorish Science Temple. Many of the Garveyites were leaders in the Moorish Science Temple. We got this reference in another source. He took the name Noble Drew Ali and proclaimed himself a prophet of Allah God. He was a member of the ancient Egyptian nobles of the mystic shrine, commonly called the Black Shriners. Noble Drew Ali, the men in this Moorish Science Temple.
Now, I'm not really knowledgeable on the intricacies of Islam and whatnot. I would say it's it's probably not a good thing to just call yourself a prophet in Islam. How many Muslims do that? Is that a thing?
No.
Because I know Christians, Christians, they stopped being Christian so long ago. It all looks gay now. But I know Muslims, they still don't play that shit.
Well,
they
like
probably beat you.
yeah, like
They will
somebody
beat
else,
you.
like somebody else probably knows more about Islam than I do, but like they actually consider Jesus to be a prophet, just not the son of God.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, and so that means you're putting yourself up there on the level with Jesus, and I think even Muslims would take issue with that.
Who wore fezzes as part of their dress. They were also required to wear colored shorts with elastic just below the knee and uniforms or robes of purple or red, which resembled those worn by the Shriners. They were considered to be Asiatic or Moors instead. Asiatic or Moors instead of African American. He thought that the Moors were superior to the white race. Noble drew a
That's another issue. This is a whole field of black mythology I should look into. Why do especially like the 5%ers and all that? They have this belief in the Asiatic black man. What the fuck is that even about? How are we African and Asiatic at the same time?
Yakub.
She worried about the wrong shit, man. See,
I mean,
to
nigga,
think.
this whole stream is the wrong shit.
See, that's why you can't be black. You lost your black card. You might as well come on tribe with me, bro. You ain't got no place there, no.
What's your Asiatic
What about all the
niggas,
black
man?
people
Asiatic
watching?
African niggas, man. That shit is wild.
What about all the blacks watching? They on trial too?
They gotta make a choice, bro. Everybody gotta make their own choice.
Everybody got to make a choice until the pistols come out, and then we'll make the choice
Right.
for you.
Hey, that's how it be.
Lee stated that Jesus, according to the temple teaching, as a black man, tried to redeem the black Moabite, only to be executed by the white Romans. In their meeting, they would practice rites that were not to be spoken of outside of the order. You can't do this. Keep it a secret. They had their own marriage ceremonies that consisted of 30 members and were conducted by the divine minister.
Whoa,
If they
whoa,
were to
whoa,
create the
whoa!
order, they
Hold on. Did he just
What?
introduce? Is this where the Jesus was black got introduced?
You
superior to
doubled
the
up
white
so
race.
bad. I didn't
Noble
hear
Drew
it.
Ali stated that Jesus, Asiatic.
Yeah, let me slow this down just a little bit too, because I sped it up slightly, but I just stumbled onto some gold. I think.
Worn by the Shriners. They were considered to be Asiatic or Moors instead. Asiatic or Moors instead of African American. He thought that the Moors were superior to the white race. Noble Drew Ali stated that Jesus, according to the temple teaching, as a black man, tried to
This is probably some of the original Jesus was black preaching.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, okay, two things. Slick Rick, you're right.
This is like doing like archaeological research here.
Okay. Everything is black and white. I like how the Spaniards did it with El Comiente, that they had different shades of them and different things. Even America had Tony and Suarbe at one point, but now everything's white or black. So you could be a light skinned black. So Jesus is black because he's Arab, right? He's a dark skinned Arab. Cool. Got that figured out. The thing about Marcus Garvey, and Slick Rick said it. I'm glad you watched my video, bro. Like, Marcus Garvey never went to Africa. He went from Jamaica to the UK, back to Jamaica, to Harlem, telling niggas to go to Africa. He never went to Africa. Crazy as shit.
So he never saw the niggatry in its full form?
No, the thing is, he was an agent. He was hanging out with a Klan senator whose name I can't remember, but it's on my video. And the Klansmen paid Garvey and gave him all the passes to all this little pageantry and this parades to convince black people to go to Africa to make America white, right? You know what I mean? And to the right. So he was an agent the whole time. Him, W.B. Du Bois, A. Philip Randolph, they were all agents. Everybody that the Semites tell black people are their heroes were agents. So
Now
yeah.
the question in my mind is like agents of what, in the sense of like what was the grand scheme? Because like maybe they did want to get all the black people out of America and get them back to Africa, maybe, but to what end? Like what? And not just to get America white, because you know the Jews don't like white people either. So what was like the real grand scheme? I'm trying to really figure it out, and you know, and it's an impossibility, but that's the question though. Like what's the grand scheme?
You sure it wasn't
Moabite?
Say what?
I was gonna say, you sure it wasn't a two-way party? We're just being used in the middle. The whites wanted us to go back to Africa so that they can make America white. Jews didn't want us to go back to Africa so that they can fuck America up.
I mean, it could be something else more complicated, right? And this is why I don't assume to know everything. I'm really on a journey full of questions, but there's definitely something afoot. Like all these powerful, shady social groups somehow coalesced on the Negro psyche. That's not an accident.
Moabite, only to be executed by the white Romans. In their meeting, they would practice rites that were not to be spoken of outside of the order. You can't do this. Keep it a secret. They had their own marriage ceremonies that consisted of 30 members and were conducted by the divine minister. If they were to quit the order, they would be required to commit suicide according to the oath taken upon joining. Outside of their meetings would be placed a guard who would push a button that would turn on a light at the podium. This let the speaker know if some unwanted guests were coming. If so, and answers to be part of the organization. This was taken from the examination portion of Freemasonry. Noble Drew Ali also wrote the Quran as revealed to him by Allah, containing the Moorish view of creation to the end of
Literal apostate. So he's taking the religion and then jamming some other shit together and making his own religion. He's gonna. I'm gonna take a little bit off the top, take a little bit from over here. I'm gonna take a little bit from over there, and I'm gonna build my own religion. And we're gonna call it shit. Yeah, shit niggas do. And you did mention that a few minutes ago too.
Real good at cargo culting.
Like this is where the NOI really stems from, because Noble Drew Ali is sort of like the spiritual forefather of the NOI. So like he and Elijah Muhammad are in this group together, and then Noble Drew Ali, he falls off, has his problems or whatever. He probably gets shot in the dice game like niggas be doing. And
He did
then
get shot in the dice game over a chick.
I bet you they was playing dice that day though. But
No,
later on,
they're probably playing checkers.
dice or a woman is either or. Once you said it was a chick, I could let the dice thing go, honestly.
Well,
But
it was back in the day. Niggas probably got shot over checkers too.
oh yeah. I wonder. That's probably some Negro World Guinness Book of World Records shit. I bet you niggas was getting shot over checkers back in the day, back before it was like TV and shit. But basically, Elijah Muhammad kind of got his start right here. Like all this that we're watching is what Elijah Muhammad came out of.
Noble Drew Ali, the Prophet, one of his segments Chicago. So you see, that's the card. We read it in the other book too. They were required to learn an examination of question and answers to be part of the organization.
Y'all
This
niggas
was taken
famous.
from the examination portion of Freemasonry. Noble Drew Ali also wrote the Quran as revealed to him by Allah, containing the Moorish view of creation to the end of time and the
I
fulfillment.
just realized that this nigga is on some Mormon shit. Like Elijah's be telling you what to write down. That's exactly what Joseph Smith said.
I wonder if the Mormons are being targeted by the Jews.
Bro, listen. It's not that different, and I haven't really gotten haven't gotten into that. But it wouldn't surprise me if Joseph Smith was a Mason as well. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose.
I mean, they think we're demons. So.
Ali's Quran focus on the history of the black man. And his
You know what they used to call Mormons, right? Mountain Jews, bro. I swear to God.
Mountain Jews.
Instead of Mountain Dew, that's wild.
Mountain Jews. Yeah, I shit you not.
That's gonna be me and Snowman. We gonna come out with a he gonna make his little briskets. We gonna call it Texas Wigger.
Listen, y'all need to open that, bro. All I need is pulled pork sandwiches, bro. I can eat a pulled pork sandwich like 4 times a week, man.
Same, I could do that.
And some coleslaw to go on the top because we don't do lettuce. Niggas got coleslaw at the barbecue joint.
Yeah, we're gonna say coleslaw is our lettuce.
Yeah,
that
basically, yeah.
Green beans are the closest thing we got.
Hey, I know a girl with 6 kids by 8 niggas that make a great coleslaw, bro.
Oh my god!
You gotta count the abortion.
That intro make me not want to eat her food.
Wow, that's how she kept getting pregnant. She kept making coleslaw.
She made coleslaw for all her baby daddies, bro.
Bro, I met her. She was working at Shark's Fish, like a little fast food Arab on spot. But I only went when she was working. Like, yo, that coleslaw off the chain. She's like, I make the coleslaw. And I was like, damn, shorty, you cute. She's like, I got 6 kids. I'm like, oh, damn, shorty. Good coleslaw though.
There's a
Its
point that never got
evolution to its
addressed. Like,
current state. This Quran in no way resembles the Holy Quran used by practicing Muslims. After death, Ali, John Gibbons L. claimed to be the new prophet and continued the organization. It is still in existence today, mainly in major cities. There have been several offshoots, mainly because of power struggles within the organization.
Oh shit.
We are all Moors.
Yeah, that's
Ending
the
centuries
NOI,
of
bro.
crusades against Muslim and other minorities. Oh, so now we're all Moors again. Moabites and Canaanites, that's what you're saying? We're all Moroccans born in America? Is that what you're saying?
Bro, Morocco is the Mediterranean. Period. Any country that touches the Mediterranean water has never been black. This is something niggas need to get into their head. North Africa don't belong to you niggas. All right, because first of all, you don't want to walk through the desert. You haven't figured out logistics and shit. So you walking north through the desert is a lot harder than them coming south to get y'all, and that's literally what's been happening. Niggas be walking south to wrangle niggas and then bring them back up to Rome and sell them for slaves and shit. And the idea that Africa is black, but I mean, the idea that all of Africa is black is just bullshit, bro. Like the Moroccans, Morocco is literally where the Moor word comes from. And them niggas are not black, bro.
Black man's mind.
So, in this book by Anur Majid, right? Let's see what they're saying here. Let's see what they're saying here. Okay, so let's zoom in. It says Islam and identification with Moors was especially clear in the case of the Moorish Science Temple of America established by the enigmatic American Muslim noble Drew Ali during the epoch of the Great Migration of blacks from the South to the North and Midwest between 1913 and 1930. Noble Drew Ali, born Timothy Drew, Psych, Thomas Drew. All right, Dash.
The broke genius says, nah, the Arabs took over North Africa like they do y'all corners in the hood. No, bro. No. I'm telling you, it's even going back before there was ever a thing called Arabs. Put it this way, right? The country of Carthage, right? The city of Carthage, rather, is roughly, I want to say, in Tunisia, but it's a North African city to the west of Egypt, right? Do you really think that if the Romans were fighting an army of African niggas, they would have never mentioned that shit? Like we had like 4 wars with these big black sailing niggas. Ain't nothing like it everywhere. Nobody like these niggas in the world. These niggas got boats and everything. Like, you really think the Romans would have just forgot to mention how black these niggas were, bro? Because people swear to God Hannibal was black. Hannibal is like one of the first black heroes I remember when I'm learning some pro-black shit growing up. And then years later, because I remember even going to like the Great Blacks and Wax Museum or whatever in Baltimore, and they had this Hannibal guy and shit. This is North African nigga. But basically, he probably looked like a hairy Arab, like all the rest of the North Africans. And we got sold this fucking scam that, North Africa was always black. Do you know that there's a population called the Tuareg, and maybe even another one, like maybe the Amazigh, another, but they're like really light skinned, blonde hair, blue eyed people who are native to North Africa and the Morocco region, bro. It's just that niggas grow up watching cable TV written by Shlomo.
Did the Romans ever fight any niggas?
Say that again.
Did the Romans ever fight any niggas?
Probably to some degree, because like they were like, well, the Nubian tribes, they were like a thing of Nubian archers were famous at one point, and
Yeah,
I think
I
they may
remember
have been
hearing
a
something
part
about
of.
that. We had
They
pretty
may
good
have, they
archers
may have
back in
been
the day.
right. They may have been a part of like the Carthaginian forces, and I think they were probably used as mercenaries in one way or another by different people. But like the idea that Carthage was just this black city, I'm like, nah, bro. Niggas just be lying to us to make us feel good about our black skin. And I don't really need lies anymore. I'm good.
Please dodge it. break the spell. That's not a real person. His name was Thomas Drew. We just saw that, right? Thomas Drew from Virginia, not from North Carolina. Thomas Drew was born on January 8th, 1886 in Virginia, not North Carolina. It says here,
Brother, I'm pretty sure your name is Abdul for personal reasons. We're getting into deep history now, but okay.
shaped the new Negro ideology into a unique combination of homegrown Islamic doctrines and elements of Freemasonry. Oh, Freemasonry. Timothy Drew shaped the new Negro, or Thomas Drew shaped the new Negro ideology into a unique combination of homegrown Islamic doctrines and elements of Freemasonry. Freemasonry, particularly from the Shriners, known officially as the American Arabic Order of Nobles of the Mystic Shrine. Drew Ali claimed Moroccan ancestry, so he was.
So this nigga from Morocco told y'all was always Moors, and y'all just ate that shit up, huh? Probably was a light-skinned nigga with good hair, too.
White privilege.
Niggas stay falling for the fucking, the head fake.
Moroccan, but then his census said he was a Virginia. So was he a Moroccan indentured servant that came here, was adopted? Is that what I'm gonna find out? All right. Drew Ali claimed Moroccan ancestry and issued nationality cards with Moroccan flag. So you're Moor, you got your nationality card, you're a citizen of the United States of America in capital letters, you have a Moroccan flag on the nationality card. So what's up? Blacks and his ideology were from Amexem instead of from Africa, and were part of the galaxy of Asiatic races, the galaxy, extending from Asia to Native and Hispanic America.
Damn.
Yo, wasn't it a dude on SKC channel the other day saying that there used to be this thing called the Black Empire or something like that? And how we had this giant territory, but we was assholes, though?
Black and brown correlation in its infancy.
I swear, I remember hearing some Negro babble about that type shit.
And all these races were Muslim. All of them were Muslim. Again, see how they generalize, right? Of course, Drew Ali's brand of Islam was bound to be attacked by Orthodox and Sunni Muslims, as happened when the Al-Ansar educated Sudanese Sati Mahid Muhammad of Al-Qadi Suwar al-Dabhab, damn, he got a long name, sued Drew Ali in court for defaming Islam and agitating for the issuing of 3 fatwas against him in Egypt and Sudan. It was from Newark in 1912 or 13 that Drew Ali received his prophetic calling on to found a religion for the uplifting of mankind. But Drew Ali's movement was not without its controversies. The Bible of the Moorish Science Temple of America, alone titled abridged as the Circle 7 Quran, 1927, was heavily plagiarized. Again, pay attention. His Circle 7 Quran was heavily plagiarized from the Rosicrucian text unto thee I grant. Look it up. Talking about Freemason secret societies here.
Right, because the Rosicrucians are another group. Like when I say there's a lot of groups parallel to the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians are another one, apparently. And I don't know much about the Rosicrucians, and they probably died off at this point, but apparently you take in your new black religion based on some Rosicrucian writings, whatever the fuck that means. Interesting.
And Eva S. and Levi Dowlins, the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. On the eve of Noble Drew Ali's death, 1929, we're going to get into who this guy is too. W.D. Fard Muhammad, probably born to a man from the East India, who would later become Pakistan and white English woman on February 25, 1891 in New Zealand, appeared in Chicago after having entered the United States via Canada illegally in 1930 with an Anglo.
Again, the black man's religion, founded by a redheaded white man, introduced to you by a half white, half Pakistani.
anglicized name and having joined the Theosophical Society of San Francisco. Who established the Theosophical Society? Blavatsky, right?
Oh, now we're getting into deep Masonic connections here. I can't even keep saying Masonic because it's bigger than Masonry. There's a whole world outside of just the Masons.
San Francisco, who appeared in Chicago after having entered the United States via Canada illegally in 1930 with an anglicized name and having joined the Theosophical Society of San Francisco. Who established the Theosophical Society? Blavatsky, right? He also joined Garvey's UNIA, the Garvey's Association, right? Same people, right? These people are working together. These are all Freemasons. And once in Chicago, the Moorish Science Temple. All right. So he was even in the Moorish Science Temple. He joined the Moorish Science Temple while attending the Ahmadiyya Mosque on the city's south side when Fard Muhammad moved to Detroit in 1930 with its estimated 120,000 black people to peddle exotic clothes and such. Noble Drew Ali had passed away, and Fard Muhammad soon started preaching on Drew Ali's working class customers, establishing a movement of Muslims as opposed to Drew Ali's Muslims with the O. Officially, the Lost Foundation of Islam, stressing consumer discipline, education, strict dietary laws, and pride in one's origin, was founded on July 4th, 1930. But it would be Elijah Poole from Georgia, Elijah Poole, down on his luck in the cold, forbidding north, who would designate the mysterious Fard Muhammad as God incarnate after meeting him in 1931. All right, the following year, Fard Muhammad was arrested on strange charges pertaining to a father's alleged sacrifice of another man. Then again in
Yeah, the ritual sacrifice somehow just keeps popping up. But the guy was accused. I don't know the full details of it, but someone was killed and someone was accused of sacrificing them for whatever ritual purpose.
Muhammad was arrested on strange charges pertaining to a father's alleged sacrifice of another man. Then again in 1933 for disturbing the peace. In June 1934, Fard left as abruptly as he had appeared in 1929. So leaving behind Elijah Muhammad, as Elijah Poole was now known, to lead a fractious movement caught up in the internecine conflict and division. Islam in Africa south of the Sahara, Bade Babru and Bajid Maksake. That's the book we're reading right now, real quick. Wallace Fard was also known to go by other names. Most notable of these are David Ford L. I told you, David Ford L. and Wali Farad Muhammad, and W.D. Fard, and F. Muhammad Ali. Like Noble Drew Ali of the Moorish Science Temple, before him no one could recall exactly where he was born. However, the Nation of Islam records show that he was born in 1877, and his given birth name was Wali Ford. Wali Ford. He later changes this to Wallace Fard Muhammad. Besides this, there is very little documentation of where he was born and to which family, given his books. Many within the movement thought he was a white man, and others thought he was born in New Zealand or in Portland of European and Polynesian parentage. But how he came to live in California is still a mystery. Prior to the founding of the Nation of Islam, Wallace Fard Ford, right? Ford, the Ford family, Ford, right? Fard joined the Moorish Science Temple. Prior to founding the Nation of Islam, Wallace Ford Fard joined the Moorish Science Temple of America in spring of 1929, shortly after he was released from prison in Detroit. He was in prison in Detroit. In recognition of his newfound faith within the Moorish Science Temple, he changed his name from David Ford, white man, David Ford, New Zealand, to Wallace Dude Fard. However, 4 months after joining the Moorish Science Temple, Noble Drew Ali died under mysterious circumstances. And Fard immediately proclaimed himself the leader of the movement, claiming that Drew Ali, the founder of the movement, had named him as successor.
I be talking to some dudes and like, especially like niggas, like I said, jail niggas would be into all the NOI shit and the 5% stuff and all that. And you can't really talk to them directly about this shit because they're like true believers or whatever. But I get into these conversations and I'll just be wondering like, where did all this shit come from? Because I know like at least with like traditional religions, this shit is so old that it's kind of difficult to research it. Sometimes you gotta you actually have to read old books or whatever, right? But you can actually research the NOI and apparently The shit is it's got some interesting origins. Let's put it that way. This is like a total random non sequitur type of clip, but I don't know. I just had this queued up for a little bit, and we're just gonna do this. Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Shit in a tissue before.
You touch shit every single day if you shit.
Why are you touching the shit? The tissue is for the shit.
So you telling me that y'all just let the doodle fall in the toilet? Y'all don't catch it every time? Yo.
I am about to leave, bro.
How do y'all take a shit? I'm about to see this shit wrong.
My nigga.
I've been catching my shit all these years.
Nah, I'm more disgusted than I feel like I can't continue.
What are you talking about?
My stomach.
So hold on, so y'all just sit there and shit come right out. No way.
What happens if you got the runs or something like that? What do you do then?
That shit, you wash your hands. Why do you think people wash their hands?
Is this real?
Yes.
Is this really real? Is this a real person? I just did a whole stream. I just mocked like the entire nation of India for this exact same type of shit. I mean, well, not even because they believed in it religiously. He's just dumb. But still, this nigga can't be real.
With that white lady with him.
Nah, she like a little light-skinned fat bitch. She not white.
Shit in a tissue before.
You touch shit every single day if you shit.
Why are you touching the shit? The tissue is for the shit.
So you telling me that y'all just let the doodle fall in the toilet? Y'all don't catch it every time?
She might be Mexican.
I am about to leave,
He sounds like
bro.
it.
How do y'all?
Her Ebonics is stronger than his.
I'm about to say.
Yeah, she got a little bit, but it's hard to tell sometimes because like regional accents or whatever. Who knows? But she definitely talks to black people.
Shit in a tissue before.
You touch shit every single day if you shit.
Why are you touching the shit? The tissue is for the shit.
So you telling me that y'all just let the doodle fall in the toilet? Y'all don't catch it every time? Yo.
I am about to leave, bro.
How do y'all take a shit? I'm about to see this shit wrong.
My nigga.
I've been catching my shit all these years.
Nah, I'm more disgusted than I feel like I can't continue.
What are you talking about?
My stomach.
So hold on, so y'all just sit there and shit come right out.
No way. What happens if you got the runs or something like that? What do you do then?
That shit, you wash your hands. Why do you think people wash their hands?
Yo, you shit in your hand, bro?
With tissue?
Shit in a tissue.
אוקיי? מבלי שאנחנו לא נדע מזה. התצפיתניות יושבות בבונקרים.
Yeah, you shit in your hand, bro?
הן לא יכולות לעשות ככה.
This is what the Aryan Nation thinks niggas talk about on 24/7 basis.
שום מצב שהיו מעירים אותי בלילה על יונה. חסידה שהתקרבה לגדר.
Oh man, what a day. What a day. Oh, stop. Yeah, I forgot I did have some other clips. Yo, this nigga is wilding right here. Niggas really be catching. I don't know what be wrong with people. Dudes be cringe. And I like Candace Owens too, but damn, this is too much, bro.
I tell you right now, fuck you, Ben Shapiro. I'll beat your ass. And look, if you mess with Candace Owens, I promise you, if you lay one little greasy finger on Candace Owens, I'm gonna beat
That's a
your ass.
wigger right there. Good God.
I'm gonna have the twins
Nah, that's a
with me.
country
We gonna
boy.
beat your ass 'cause you mess with Candace
No,
Owens.
he's with
We gonna
Panna.
be
That's a
looking-
wigger.
he got black friends. All right,
Yeah,
maybe.
he got mulatto friends. That's a
We gonna
wigger.
stomp your ass to the ground. Don't you mess with Candy.
That
baby.
boy is a wigger.
I don't like Ben Shapiro. I'll say it to his face. Bring him on the show because he wants Christian people in this country that he already steals their tax dollars off of. He's part of this corrupted government. He's a piece of shit, just like the rest of them. He wants us to go die to bomb Muslim kids for his Jewish people because he's too scared to do it. How come Ben Shapiro, since he's all about this war, how come he don't sign up for the army?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of going with Andre on this one. A redneck would, a wigger would have had a wife beater on. Rednecks
It's either
just
that or
go
a
shirtless.
either that or a grill. Either that or a grill.
Right. He's got the black people haircut, but you know, maybe that's what white folk are doing nowadays.
I
He's a
don't
piece of
know.
shit,
It
just like the rest
sometimes
of them.
a lot of the wiggers and rednecks in my area act and sound the same. Maybe that's just me though.
It's America. All the cultures eventually start to meld.
Yeah,
That's why they
they
call
start
it the
looking.
melting pot.
He wants us to go die to bomb Muslim kids for his Jewish people because he's too scared to do it. How come Ben Shapiro, since he's all about this war, how come he don't sign up for the army? Because he's a bitch.
I'm
Straight
bad.
up. I tell you right now, fuck you, Ben Shapiro. I'll beat your ass. And look, if you mess with Candace Owens, I promise you, if you lay one little greasy finger on Candace Owens, I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm
gonna sick the black women on him.
I'm gonna have the twins with me. We're gonna beat your ass because you mess with Candace.
Dude looked up like, hey. He said I was gonna be with him.
We're gonna beat your ass because you mess with Candace Owens.
Look.
We're gonna start shirts off. I'm gonna have the twins with me. We're gonna beat your ass because you mess with Candace. I'm gonna have the twins with me. We're gonna beat your ass because you mess with Candace.
Oh man, listen, leave the light skin raw. Leave the leave the mulattoes out of this one. But man, listen, it's getting late. I gotta get up out of here. We've been at this for a long time now. Said that nigga Wax is wild. He used to be on the Breakfast Club. Dude sprinkles Copenhagen on his Cheerios. listen, we
Don't
got
sound
to
too
go,
bad.
man. I'm wondering, like, is Copenhagen slang for something? It's like Frosted Flakes or something. Like, what do you mean by Copenhagen? Is there a
Frosted
new
Flakes
white drug?
was for cocaine, I believe.
This is what I'm saying. Like, is there a new white drug out there I haven't learned about yet? But anyway, I
Hit
gotta
the
get up.
streets, hood.
Right,
Yeah, man.
I gotta
Sprinkle
hit the
fever,
street.
baby. Sprinkle.
Oh shit, we start talking about new white drugs and dirty folk come back alive.
Nah, man. I had to take a coffee
You was
bathroom break.
buying tacos. You was buying tacos. I know.
Hey, you know what, bro? That was a good answer. It didn't happen, but it's possible.
Gonna leave with my girl.
Now you're gonna leave with the Jewish titties.
I don't think she's no. The Jewish titties, that was a different clip. I don't care about them. I'm not gonna add them to the show. They weren't that cool. And that one chick, she's kind of looking weird. She had big titties, but she had a weird face. Big
And she
titties
was
and a weird face.
She had just had a baby body. That's why she
And
had
they
the
took
maternity.
off the J. And I bet they took off the J, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one right here, though, I can go for her. I like her. I like how she eats steak. I just love how she eats a steak. I don't care.
You see yourself in that steak.
I am
hope
that
not.
steak.
You see it. You telling me you see that petite little white woman succulent on that big black meat?
Chew on me exactly how you chew on that steak. That's how I said when I first played this video. I want you to do to me exactly what you did to the steak.
No, sir. Do not bite it. Don't matter. I learned that from my childhood. Don't matter. Just don't bite it.
Nah, I'm into her. I'm really, really into her. Anyway, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. I done did too much. I done said way too much. But goddamn, no, that's some steak right there, though. I mean, come on, those eyes.
Oh man,
And look, I want her to look at me. I want
Black
her to.
Thoughts is going on the panel at Chaotix tonight.
I want her to look me in the eye too at the same time. I want her to stare at me just like this. That's the look right there. That's the
That
look.
is
All right,
the
now
look,
we can
though.
leave. Now we
That
can leave.
is the look. I give you that. That look right there will get somebody pregnant. But
who the fuck raised that barbarian?
You. She look Irish.
One of yours, bro. That's
She one of yours, bro. She from that goddamn godforsaken island. One of them islands, Greenland, Iceland, Britain.
No, she's one of yours. She looks like she was raised by savages.
Bro, you were simping for Riley Reid a while back, bro. Chill. You have no right, sir. You have no right.
Bro,
How are you taking my rights away from me, Hood?
Because, man, this is cultural appropriation. Look,
this is the new America. Haven't
the
you
new
been paying
America.
attention?
The white man needs a black leader to do the things they're afraid to do.
I don't like this. I don't like this new America. This new America sucks. I want to go back to the old America where the white man had power.
Well,
White
first
man
you
didn't
gotta
have
get
power. White
comfortable.
man just beat up people over girls. Look,
Listen, you can't even handle a bitch eating a
Well,
steak
let's
with her
go
bare
back to
hands.
that. That was even better than this.
If
no,
you
it's
can't
not.
handle a girl eating steak with her bare hands, you can't boss niggas around, bro. You gotta baby
I'm
step
trying to
your way
told
back.
you.
Dude,
It's
she
crazy.
looks like she's eating a hoof.
Look, this is what
She
you're.
looks like she got the whole fucking hoof in her mouth.
Yeah,
Nah,
that
that's
is
just a
probably
big
one of
ass.
Snowman bastard kids on the road
That's a big
ass
ass
and
T-bone.
kids.
Snowman, you wish you had this cut of steak. Look at this shit. That's a big ass T-bone. That shit is like 2 inches thick, bro.
That's a fucking 3-inch thick porterhouse, sir. I got a
Porterhouse.
Yeah, I got a 1.5 inch thick porterhouse in the freezer right now.
See, and there's more meat on her steak than there is on yours. Is all I'm saying. You're not ready
tell
yet,
it's a
man. Baby
porterhouse.
steps.
You know how you can tell the difference between a T-bone and a porterhouse?
That's one of those steaks in Vegas that you don't eat the whole thing, you get it free. That's one of those steaks.
You see how it's got meat on the other side where her left hand is? It would be the right side of the steak to us. See how there's meat there?
Yeah.
It looked like a T-bone bone in there though, bro.
That's how you know it's a porterhouse, because it's still got some of the meat there. That's where the fillet is, generally, where you get your filet mignon on that part of the T-bone.
Hey, we need that type of knowledge.
Porterhouse is like,
it's a fillet. Porterhouse is actually a fillet and a New York strip all in one steak.
I was just gonna say, so a porterhouse is my favorite steak combined. It's like parts of my favorite steak because I fuck with New York strip. If I'm gonna buy a steak, I'm basically gonna get a New York strip because it's easier to cook. And I don't like bones and shit, and I'm not gonna eat the bone. They make you pay for shit you're not gonna eat.
Yeah, I don't like the bone either. I don't want no bones
yeah,
in
that's
my
what
mouth.
it is, and that's one big ass porterhouse she got right there.
Bro, I wouldn't take her on a date anyway though. Look at her, bro.
Dude, I wouldn't take her anywhere. I would leave her chained to a fucking 454 in the kitchen.
I wouldn't leave her chained. I'm not savage.
Yeah, I was going to say that would bring back some PTSD.
Well, good luck with
Take her a
that. Because
playground.
like, good luck with that shit. Because as Sil was talking about earlier, when he was talking about Vikings, like that's a shield maiden right there. Like her ancestors are probably some Viking bitches. So
that's what I'm saying. Our children are gonna fuck their kids up.
Dude, that's why she needs to be chained to a 454 in the
She
kitchen.
does not. She's not.
She might bring a squad with. She might be half a squad with her though.
I'm not against the good chaining because we can just make babies and feed her steak. That's actually not a bad plan. Listen, I'm gonna feed you steak and we're gonna make babies.
Yes, you're going to create my future warriors.
Am I not benevolent?
Look. I was only going with she too skinny to take in public because skinny girls eat the most. Y'all take it to a whole different.
No, she is a baby making machine right there. She's going to birth warriors, sir. Look at how she's manhandling that piece of meat.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not going to disagree.
She ain't going to birth fucking dudes that want soy burgers, dude.
In the long run, you're going to save money. Look, you don't have to buy vegetables, really. Maybe a potato every now and then, but
you aren't going to find Boca Burger in her freezer.
Bro, do you know how constipated you'll be? You got to get vegetables, bro.
No, you don't.
No, not her.
She poured the vegetables on top of the steak, though. I think they were in the bowl. Some type of vegetable
that was
mix.
a little salsa type of thing, some pesto salsa.
Most
type
of that's
shit.
not even on the steak; it's on the plate.
There's a little bit on the steak, but that's all you need. Right, you got to sop it up. Actually, when the camera stops, you're gonna stop it up, get all that shit.
Yeah, too.
I was out mowing when it was said, but Copenhagen is chewing tobacco, you morons.
I knew it was a new white drug. Well, it's an old white drug, but I wasn't really hip to it.
It's not even new, dude. Copenhagen been around since fucking 1742.
I don't know. This is
like Red Man.
Secrets.
Nobody watches baseball. We don't know about chewing tobacco.
He's never a
Right,
man.
My chewing tobacco has bubble gum in it, bro. I don't know what the fuck you mean.
Yo, what?
You had to dip because you weren't allowed to smoke?
Nah, bro, that's the closest I ever came to chewing tobacco. You never had the bubble gum chewing tobacco? Fuck no, that's white people shit.
Yeah, that definitely is.
I grew up with a fucking big ass glue bottle that had masking tape around it that I used as my spit bottle.
You grew up in Ohio. That's like a
Jesus
third world country.
Christ.
Right. You know what? When I was talking about Stone Age white people, I should have mentioned Ohio, at least like an honorable mention. But still, bro, no, we never did any of that shit.
There's a log of grizzly. There's a log of skull.
Dude, I'm glad I quit smoking cigarettes. I couldn't spit that. I couldn't.
There's another
How,
log of
how do
grizzly.
you even? How do you even get the tobacco? It just like soaks in through your jawbone. You got jawbone tobacco.
Yeah, that's what that is, dude.
Ew. So
No.
you get like a
Yeah.
little tingle. Like does your jawbone start to tingle?
I know you can see my camera when I did that though, Hood. You see that log, right? That's a log of grizzly.
Yeah. Ew, and it comes in a log.
Yeah,
I
it
de-
used to be 10 cans, now it's 5 cans. There's
Like,
a log of
I-
skull.
I definitely did mention chewing tobacco
There's
earlier.
another log of grizzly.
Like, because I actually did work with like, you know, I mean, I do still work with like a lot of white boys, but like
I chew a lot when I'm outside in the yard working.
well, like one of the times I was working, like one of the white boys was like, "You want some chew?" I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" And then like another white boy was just like, "Yeah, he doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't want that."
Black, he from the hood. He don't know what chew is, man. You should ask him if he wanted a bite of your blunt.
And
Right.
then
you
I
gotta
asked
give me a
him like,
Lucy, bro.
Yeah, that sounds way better.
yeah. And when I asked him like, "What the fuck is chew?" He's like, "Chewing tobacco." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good on that stuff."
I will smoke a whole Black and Mild before I chew that shit. What the fuck, bro?
Never do white people drugs ever. Except
Shut up, dude.
Except for meth. Meth is all
Let,
right.
let white people have
Meth
their
is all
culture,
right,
bro.
dude. I agree.
Did you just say keep all the meth for yourself, Snowman? What was that?
What?
I heard you say something about keeping all the meth for you. Did I mishear that?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
I'm not gonna argue that. You can keep all of them.
If he wants it, I'll say let him have it. Oh fuck.
My friend, if that's what pleases you, sir, you can have it.
See, Friedman knows what chew is.
Damn, that's that Ohio shit, man. Listen, I gotta get up out of here. Introduce me to more radical.
By the way,
white
I
man.
wanted to point out, man, that the whole Carameo shit. Did you realize what he did?
What's that?
He tied niggas with Freemasonry with the Illuminati.
Yes, that's what I was trying to show y'all. You kind of seem shocked, but that was the whole thing. I'm like, bro,
Dude, that blew my fucking mind.
Yes, bro, that shit is wild. When I first started peeping it, because remember the question was why did we become Muslim, right? Because we're coming off the farm, off the plantation. Most people are going to be Christian because that's what they were teaching slaves, right? So we had a lot of black Christians, but then why do we become Muslim? And then I start, learning about Nation of Islam stuff, and then you learn the history of that shit, and then you get a video like Carameo. And he's just telling you that no, it was all Masons and secret society niggas and shit. I'm like, oh, damn.
Mm. You know what? I'm gonna say this though. I know you about to go.
I'm just saying, dude. I was out on the mower when all that came to a conclusion, and I don't think everybody realized the gravity of what you showed them. If I wasn't on the mower, I would have piped up then. But I was sitting there like, holy shit, he did not.
Now, I already know it. I said I
did not just dude. Black people have been the horrible people on the planet since the beginning, according to Carameo.
Bro, I'm not even knocking that. That's why I think
they're the original entity of the secret society.
That's why I think I'm trans-Jewish, bro.
They're elder charge and shit.
Said I'm trans-Jewish.
I really think that. But here's the thing.
Who am I to stop you?
I know, right? If I was Jewish, I'd be rich already. It wouldn't be a bunch of people trying to stop.
You're black. You'd have fucked it up.
No, I'm not black.
If you're a black Jew, you'll at least have some money. You'll have some security.
Nah, he'd have it in some rims.
No, sir. What type of niggerish?
He got some.
No.
He got
Whatever actually happened to the black Jews? Because people say shit like we was the original Jews and all that, and I think there's a tiny bit of truth in it, but not the way black people think it is. It's just a lot of dark skinned Jews is really really dark.
No,
compared to white.
And I feel like this white girl is staring into my soul while she's biting into that fucking.
You already said no. She's mine. You can't have her. Go get you a fat bitch.
Dude, I'm not going to renege. I just need a couple of the offspring because they're going to be workhorses.
No,
man, we need more mulattoes.
My children are going to conquer yours. That's the plan.
Yeah,
you could have got in on this, but you had to be a hater.
No, I told you what it was. Hood. Initially, American blacks were calling themselves Jews, like in the 1900s, 1890s. They were when everybody was going to re-education camps. People were getting split up. So the light skinned people were called natives. The dark skinned ones were going to Christian camps and letting the Catholic Church teach them how to be Pentecostal because they didn't want them to be, Christians like they were. That's why a lot of blacks are Baptists. You ever notice that? Anyway,
the greatest.
Yeah, we're
days
mostly
of my life,
Baptists.
when I was in high school, I lived in Elkhart with my dad, and my dad lived right across the street from this Pentecostal church, man. And I was such a fucking prick when I was like 16, 17 years old. Every Sunday morning, dude, when they would come to roll up, like when they were filing up, opening up the doors for the church in the morning and their congregation rolling in, I'd take my big ass boombox and I'd blast fucking, what the name of the song is, Supercharger Heaven by White Zombie every Sunday morning. And the lyrics to that are basically it's the chorus is devil man, calling, devil man running through my head. Yeah, every morning.
Yeah, they didn't like you.
Oh, dude, they hated me. They hated me specifically.
I had to do that at a synagogue. Anyway, we're done now.
I think that's a good way to test whether or not a religion is, or a group of people are real or not, by challenging them and challenging their spirituality. And that's all I was doing. God was working through me to challenge their spirituality.
That was the devil, and it's all right. I'm sure the devil is out of you now, but the devil was in you at that one time, and that's what happened. We got to wrap this up, though.
Have a good one, Hood.
Yeah, I need some handles on my channel. Somebody need to send me some content. XL probably sending me shit, but I need different
we
content.
up out of here, y'all, man.
Yeah, we got it.
Man, it was fun.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.